Hi, I'm Bran, and I love The Way Home.
I'm Ryan, and I quite like The Way Home.
I'm Dan, and I despise The Way Home, and this is the
Deck the Hallmark Podcast.
Deck the Hallmark, it's his podcast. Brandon and friends host his podcast.
We hope you like this jolly podcast.
Hello, everybody.
yes.
Another week is here. Another week of The Way Home. We had a week off.
It was tough last week.
Difficult. Super Bowl, super schmall. That's what
That's
I
right.
always say.
But we're back in the saddle.
We are back in the saddle. It's great to be back. It's great to be back in Canada. Ryan, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, recovering. I had a tough week last week. The D1 versus D3 crowd really came for me, but I'm good. I'm
Now,
hanging
did
in
you
there.
hear
Yeah.
some pushback?
Yeah.
There was some. I'm steadfast in where I'm at, but I always want to hear the other side of things. You know, they were quacking.
We heard from Minnesota natives that tried to defend you, but even their defense wasn't D3 is the best movie. Like
No,
I said D2 is the best film. I said D2 is the best.
Yeah.
film.
Oh yeah, my bad. And then
Because
D3,
you're not blind.
And then yeah. D2 is the best movie. Iceland. I mean the whole thing. But even they couldn't say it wasn't worse. I've never heard anyone. You're the only person. Do you know of anyone else that has that take?
No, I am the only one. I am the last of us.
There's a take. You are the last of us. There's a take in this episode that I think may be as unique.
I'm sure we'll get to
Maybe
it.
my sink or swim. Maybe it might not get to sink or swim because I
don't
think it's
think
going to
it's
come
going
up
to make
before
it past
sink or
the
swim.
synopsis, but we'll get there. Yeah.
And this is very exciting. We just found out that Ride, which is the next new series that Hallmark is launching, we're not going to miss any. It's going to be a little overlap, actually.
Yeah, the premiere and the finale.
The
same
finale,
night.
and then you ride right into Ride. Man, that's a
Yeah.
you ride right into.
I've already named Ride Mellowstone, and I feel really good about that name.
Oh, that's a good poll.
Yellowstone. Yeah. So
I gotta say, I don't know anything. I'm going in blind
Me
once
too.
again. It did me well
if
with
it's
this
a time
with
travel,
this-
so help me. I will not see it coming.
I mean,
They get on a horse and then all of a sudden
what can
it's
they do? You know, they're not going to like be constantly like it's not going to be Yellowstone where they're like killing people all the time.
I don't think so.
But
Seems unlikely.
maybe it is. Maybe it is.
Wouldn't put it past them.
What if the horses? What if the horses fly?
New Hallmark.
New Hallmark. What if the horses
The
fly?
horses fly is what you said.
Wouldn't it be called Fly at that point?
It wouldn't be called Ride anymore.
Okay, fine. It's probably not. They're probably not going to fly.
Probably not gonna
As
fly.
we talked it through,
The horses will be
I
ridden.
think it is safe. It is safe to say the horses are not going to fly.
Correct. Yes,
Maybe they'll ride the horses.
that's right.
How much Garth Brooks are we getting?
Oh, we better. I mean, yeah. How much does his songs cost? He's always like the last.
Oh yeah,
holdout
gosh, you can't play
from
Garth Brooks.
streaming. You can't play Garth Brooks.
I don't know. I mean, this show has gotten everything. It's
But
now
Garth
that's what I
Brooks,
call the
like-
'90s. The Way Home.
Garth Brooks didn't have his music on Spotify till like last year, Ryan. Like I'm serious. Like
Fair.
he was like the last.
Is he on Spotify now?
I think or is it just Amazon
it's just
Music?
Amazon.
Yeah.
He launched his own streaming service, which was a bold move.
Garthify. Yeah.
And then he said,
Yeah.
okay, I'll do a deal
You
with
can't find Garth Brooks originals on Spotify right now.
Mm.
Man,
Hallmark's
what a
going to do
world.
it. I'm confident.
Hallmark's gonna do
Yeah,
it.
if Hallmark plays Garth Brooks, then that is new Hallmark.
Are you
Let's
a country
ride.
guy? Are you a country guy, right?
I like pop country. Yeah.
You
You
like
know, like-
pop country?
Like little
God,
big
bad take after bad take from Ryan over here.
like little big town. They're cool. I like them.
Town. My man throws on D3 and Little Big Town.
Sometimes simultaneously.
Good.
I'll be
simultaneously.
honest.
Gosh.
I'll be honest. That's my version of hell. Having to only watch D3 and listen to Little Big Town.
Little Big Town.
It's a hard
Jimmy
time.
Allen, like him too.
Jimmy Allen, this guy. Man.
Shout out to Jimmy Allen.
Man.
Guys, let's
What state are you from, Ryan?
I'm the Northeast Zone, Connecticut. You know, born and raised. Yeah,
Connecticut.
yeah.
Got it. We got some Connecticut double
fancy
deckers.
boy. Everybody in Connecticut. I
It
think,
is fancy. They're all wealthy,
They're all
fancy
wealthy,
people.
fancy
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
That's
they
exactly
all are.
right. That listen to pop country. Ugh.
They have their own version of a lobster roll.
Yeah.
They put brown butter on it and heat it up. Like, do it right.
maybe we get to the recap before I do any other unforgivable things here. Maybe that's.
Let's do that. The Way Home, season 1, episode 5. I forgot to look up the title, but I'm sure it's something fun. February 19th, 2023 is when it premiered, and it went a little something like this. Brady is still here, and he's making breakfast, looking good. I will say his 5 o'clock shadow. He got
square jaw, that guy.
But it's also just like his face always. It's just amazing. Is all I'm trying to say. Dell tells the family that the movie theater is closing down and people are coming into town for the last big farewell. And Alice is hoping that 40-year-old Nick is going to come back into town, seeing as how it's his moms that own the theater.
Yeah,
so maybe my 40-year-old boyfriend will come into town. And so Kat goes to talk to Elliot some more about why he didn't just tell her that time travel. And he's like, well, imagine how hard it would be to tell somebody that time travel is a thing. That's an uphill battle I wasn't willing to try to climb. And so Kat is at the theater looking at some old posters. Apparently they're up for grabs. I don't know. And she sees a missing child poster flyer thing in with all the movie posters. And so she's like, oh, I do miss my brother. So she time travels to see him, is watching him from behind a tree. And he hears someone. And so he is like, hey, who's there? Who's there? Assumes it's the White Witch, runs away. Thank God for the White Witch. You know?
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Alice is stalking Nick, 40-year-old Nick, on Instagram and sees that Elliot is still his friend. He doesn't have any pictures of himself.
Pictures of himself.
He's got like boat pictures and Elliot.
That's it.
But she goes to talk to him and is like, hey, I want to see him. And he's like, I don't think you want to see him. And also he's 40. And she's like, love is love.
That's not the context.
And Elliot is like, ew, hard pass, which is more than fair. So she time travels again because she wants to spend some more time with Nick. Ends up having to stay for dinner at Kat's house because Brady is coming over to have dinner with the family for the first time. It's awkward and weird. But she's starting to thaw to her dad being a total jerk face. Maybe there's some redeeming qualities to him. I don't know. Back in 2023, Elliot joins the family for dinner this time, and he and Brady jaw back and forth about Limp Bizkit being better than Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, dear.
It is quite the debate. Alice hangs out with Nick some more and back in 99 and tells him to meet her at the Roxy on this specific date in 2023. He responds by so random. But I'll be there. Elliot asks Kat to go to the school dance with him, and so he picks her up. She's looking fancy. He's looking fancy. They're fancy people. Alice tells her dad that he's glad that he's not a complete jerk anymore like he was when he was a kid. And he's like, what? How do you know what I was like when I was a kid? And he's like, don't worry about it. He assumes that Elliot must have told her that her dad was a complete jerk. So he goes to the party, sees Kat dancing with Elliot, says, hey, Kat, I need to talk to you. Takes her outside, and he's like, I don't like what's going on here. And she's like, well, you weren't around. They argue back and forth about why they basically didn't work out, how they stopped talking, how they stopped kissing, and that leads them to start kissing, making out hard. Make it out.
Big smooch.
Make it out hard. And Elliot sees them. He gets really sad. And Alice leaves the party to go to the Roxy to meet Nick because it's a specific time at the specific place in 2023. And he does not show up. And Alice and Elliot kind of look on and see that she's disappointed, but I think they're all happy that he didn't show up. I think they're all feeling pretty good about that.
We all were.
And that, my friends, was
The Way
Home,
Season
1, episode 5. I don't want to miss a thing, part 2.
We're going to take a quick break. We nailed that. We're going to be back and talk about this episode on Deck the Hallmark. We're back.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Deck the Hallmark. We're talking about The Way Home. Now, I wanna cue something up here in just a second.
Okay.
But we're gonna start with a hot take, and I am gonna start to Ryan. Then when it gets to me,
then why did you tell me you were going to cue it up? If
He's
it's
gonna
not
cue it
right
up
now?
after-
you know what?
I
I'm gonna cue it up for the feels segment.
Feels segment.
I'm gonna cue up a feels.
I love it.
I just want everyone. I'm just teasing. I'm queuing something up.
All right.
Okay.
I'm queuing something
we're
up.
doing things.
Ryan, let's start with you. What did you think about this episode? We got a week off, a week removed. We kind of missed our friends up in Canada. How is it going back to the old farm?
I'm just waiting for all the feels. I'm queued up. But this one felt like a good, soft reset, I thought, because we didn't love, I don't think any of us thought that they totally stuck the landing in episode 4 with the big swings. So this felt like, I don't want to say coming back to earth in a good way, but there was no huge twist in this episode. We can't say that, somebody 40-year-old homie not being there is a big twist. Like, that's just good character, progression and all of those things. I thought all of the emotional stuff landed well. The cat Brady scene in the parking lot, I thought was, by this show's standards, by Hallmark standards, just by standards of good television, really worked. I think both of those actors have been up and down, but I thought they nailed that. There's a lot of good comedy, which I'll get to in my feels, which I have queued up. All in all, strong character development. Episode 5, I could make the argument's the best episode of the 5 so far.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
I'm making the argument.
I was with you until that moment.
You could make the argument.
Ryan, that's bold.
Okay, make the argument.
Well, no,
I
we
think
gotta.
He did. He made the argument.
We gotta
say
yeah.
time.
Yeah, don't make me do that. It's like a D3 situation. Dean Portman didn't get his letter. He didn't get his Dean Portman never got his letter. There's nothing we can do about that. Brand, did he get it before the big playoff game? Yeah. Did they instate him immediately? Of course they did. They're not monsters, but Dean Portman didn't get his letter.
Dan, find me a better third act moment in any film than Dean Portman getting his letter. I'll wait.
They just it would have been better if like Dean Portman was like being held hostage.
I will say,
that
I
was
think
before we didn't make it.
We've all dreamed about walking into a boardroom mid reading a letter out loud.
Yeah, out loud on the bus.
I'm happy to say
Dean Portman has been accepted into blah blah blah.
it's right here.
Man,
Beautiful.
Gosh, I need to rewatch it.
It might be a pod at this point.
When are we doing it?
Dude, we've talked about doing a Mighty Ducks podcast where we just watch the Mighty Ducks every week on rotation. That's all as far as we've gotten.
I think we're joking.
That's as far as we've gotten.
I have ideas for offline, but let's
all right.
I love it.
So I'm just in love with the show, like just straight up, no holds barred. No bars being held.
No holds barred.
No bars.
You're not at the bar. What bar are you at? No holds. I'm at the no holds bar.
No bars. No bars are being held.
I'm down at no holds. Where are you guys? You want to meet up later? Doing shots at no holds.
I don't need it.
You have found a myriad ways of screwing that phrase up. 6 ways to sundown. It's impressive.
Thank you.
Ryan can't contain himself. It's like he just found out Dean Portman got a letter.
Well, the no holds bar, raising the bar, it's a lawyer thing. No holds.
That's
it's
right.
the Dean
That's exactly right.
That's
Brady's in town.
I can't wait for a no holds bar match. Holy crap!
Well, you see the statues. I love it. I love it. And you know what? I think my only point of hesitancy is we're halfway through season 1, and I know I'm anxious about how they're gonna deal with the brother. Like I know he's not dead. I know he's missing. I'm sure he's time traveled, and I feel like in the next episode or two, we're going to get some answers. And I think I'm watching each of these episodes nervous because I genuinely don't know what they're going to do with it and what with that character. I'm also like I think that this Nick storyline is incredibly uncomfortable. I hate it, but I love that they did it. Like,
yeah,
it was a bold move, and they keep doubling down on it. Yeah. And at some point, I think Nick's gonna have to show up, right? Like, it's gonna have to. And so there's things that I feel like we're halfway through the season, and I can't wait for the second half of this season because there's so many things that I think are going to happen that they're going to roll out. So there's an excitement, there's a nervous energy every time I put on this episode, but this was an easy episode. Really enjoyed it across the table and across the bar. Dan?
Across the board. Yeah, this is the type of episode I was hoping we were going to get after the premiere. Like a character development episode. Are you shooting an independent film, Ryan? All right, you're better now. Okay. You had
had to go artsy there for a second.
The
Much
mic
like
was
D3.
in full. Yeah. That's right.
Ryan's trying to spice stuff up for the Philo viewers. That's exactly right. Philo.tv DTH.
Really good character development. Hallmark not afraid to make viewers angry, which I loved, which is like in most any Hallmark show before the last couple of years, they would never have had like competing love interests for Kat. They'd have been like, you want Kat and Elliot. You know, we all want Kat and Elliot to happen. And so they're not afraid to do it, which I really appreciate. I love that they have a few bullets in the gun that they're not giving us just yet. The Nick thing is driving me crazy. Can you go forward in time like you can go back? That would be the only way to get out of that quagmire successfully is to have him jump into the thing forward. There's a lot more questions there.
You have the theory that the boy is
the what?
The archive guy, the newspaper guy, which is a bold move.
I don't think that's true anymore after watching them hold hands.
Listen,
I think that
I know when we were 4, we were all like, I'm going to marry my mom.
Yeah, but now it's weird.
Now that you're a grown adult, you know,
it's just he's something.
He's something.
I think that we're probably going to get to a world where Kat is going to meddle in the past, and that's going to cause Jacob to jump in the pond, and he's not going to know what to do when he gets there. And it's going to be irreversible. Ooh. And so Kat's going to have to find him in present day. And he's going to be younger than Kat, older than Alice. That's my guess.
Because he's going to be too young to know,
right.
to think, to put it together.
That makes all the sense in the world to me. But what I love about this episode is that it allowed us to just develop character without moving the big time travel storyline along. And it did so in a very organic way. So I'm not with Ryan that it's the best of the season, or you could make that argument. I am with Ryan that everything really about this episode works. And so I'm here for it, much better than episode 4. Thanks, Way Home, for catching yourself and moving back in the right direction.
Yeah, it's time for the feels. We're talking about what in this episode gave us feels. Ryan.
One big feel off rip is that we're only all the feels away from Brand's all the feels, which is queued up.
That's true. Yeah, I think it's tough to say you're going to cue something up in all the feels and then kick it to Ryan.
Yeah, well, I can't go out of order.
But I'll be quick because I'm like really. But Iris is such an amazing song, guys. Man. Like the Goo Goo Dolls really hit that one out of the park.
Yeah, they did. It could be their best song.
It's debatable. Is
it debatable?
Well, what's the other one?
Balloon? Slide? Black Balloon? What is that song? Black Balloon. What song?
To clarify, it is Iris. I was being tongue-in-cheek.
Slide's a great song, but
no, the Goo Goo Dolls have a couple of big ones. Oh, Better Days is actually their best song. Excuse me. I've covered Better Days. It's on my Christmas albums, which do exist. But legitimately. But everyone owes it to themselves to listen to the Boyz II Men cover of Iris. That's just you're welcome.
What?
Yeah.
You were saying so many things right now.
Yeah. Boyz II Men covered Iris?
I'll send it your way after the show. It's excellent.
I think I can find it.
We do have the internet. Ryan's got a special link.
I know you're in Connecticut up there with your fancy World Wide Web, but I think we can handle it here in South Carolina. It's just a famous band and a famous song typed with my fingers.
It was
To be
only-
fair,
they
if I
released
told you
it only
Garth
to
Brooks
Connecticut.
covered Iris, you wouldn't have been able to find it on Spotify.
That's true. That's true.
But I would know all about it because
That's
Garth
true.
Brooks can do no wrong.
That is also true. And then on the a lot of emotion in this episode, I want to focus on some comedy. 2023 Elliot and 1999 Elliot giving Alice the same lecture, and Alice being like, "You just gave me this lecture," was legitimately funny. The robot apocalypse line was funny. I do want to shout out the writing because I would have thought 5 weeks in that I did not expect to laugh as much as I have at this show, and not like laugh at it, laugh with it. There's been several funny moments throughout. I think good on them. They're crushing that element of it.
You nailed it.
Oh,
this is going to be my feels.
Really?
I love it. Yeah, I see it. It's going to be my feels.
So
If Ryan doesn't know about this,
so
this is very
my
exciting.
feels is a feels that I've had for a few days now.
Yeah.
And it's from an interview that Chyler Lee did. Kyler? No, we call her Chyler.
I've heard it both
Chyler.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah, it's Chyler.
Definitely Kyler.
Well, again,
what is your problem?
Did an
Chyler
interview,
Lee.
and when asked about what's her
Chyler Murray?
Shul? Are you Megamind? Is it let's go to Shul?
what's her favorite reaction that she's gotten about the show, I think she's talking about us. And
Kyler Lee was asked what her favorite reaction about The Way Home is.
I'm going to play the clip.
This is the
Ryan,
clip of
I
Kyler
think
Lee.
you're going to be able to hear it, although I'm not entirely sure how the mix minus works. But
Have
we'll
you
get it.
heard this yet?
No, I have not. I might not
But
hear
I-
it now. I've been told. But we'll see.
I think she's talking about us. So let's kick it to the clip. Okay, it's not playing. So we'll just we'll do another. We'll do it.
The build-up was phenomenal.
We queued this up for 15 minutes.
The build-up to this moment
Hold on.
was
hold on.
just
Hold on to your
absolutely
Oh man, no holds bar on that one.
Hold on to your pants. Hold on to your pants.
above and beyond.
Okay, guys, hold on. Okay, here we go. Are you ready? Is everybody ready? Is everybody ready? Here it comes. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna ignore what this guy's saying. Can you hear this, Ryan?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh
Here we
my
go.
God, that's amazing. Yeah, someone had told me, and I'm trying to remember who it was, but I think there's like this podcast of these three men who are like WWE or WWF. I don't know what we call it anymore. Like ex-wrestler guys that absolutely they go through and they like review all of these Hallmark shows, and like they love The Way Home. And I was like, what? I have to research this and look into it because I want to talk to them.
That's amazing. Look
Thank you, Chyler.
Kyler.
I just want to. The reason why I say I think she's talking about us.
And when we get to the no holds bar match, it's going to be on.
I think there was some misrelayed information. We're not wrestlers.
Here's why there's misrelayed
My
information.
legacy on this show is incredible.
Because at the end of every episode, Brand, we've decided to have a pro wrestling segment.
That is true.
That is why
true.
people are confused. It is an intended consequence. If people think we're wrestlers, it's because they've listened to the show.
Yeah.
That's why they think that.
Yeah. We're not wrestlers. We've never wrestled.
Nor am I. Just if anyone's
right,
confused.
right.
I also do not do that. Yes.
But I did. When I heard it, people tagged us in the live, and I went back and watched it. I just loved every second of that.
Ryan always does call himself the Rye Guy, which could be his wrestling name, and he's just doing a little trash talk. So a little talk trash.
A little talk trash. But boy, if that doesn't give you the feels, I don't know what does. Just three
I'm
ex-wrestlers talking about Hallmark.
That was my feels for sure.
That's us.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about this episode a little bit more here on Deck the Hallmark.
Take the Hallmark.
You try.
Sorry, I'm on delay.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking about The Way Home, Season 1, Episode 5. Let's get to the wait what. Did anything in this episode make us go wait what? If so, let's talk about it. Ryan?
Your 25-year pro wrestling career made me go, wait, what? But, so
I started when I was 5. I crushed it.
Yeah, we're all old enough to be ex-wrestlers. That's the best part. Yeah.
Kat was yelling at Elliot at the end of episode 4, right? And she was really upset. And we all were like, man, we're surprised it took her this long to wait to yell at him
That's right.
in that episode. And then Brady showed up, and then we had to wait 2 weeks because of the big game. And then Kat decided to wait an additional 12 hours to talk to Elliot about this. Monumental would be an understatement. She just discovered that her entire family can time travel. And she said, you know what? I'm going to wait till I drop my kid off at school. We got, my husband's back and I just got to wait a little bit longer. It seemed like a bit of a stretch to me. Yeah. And then as a pack rat, I keep everything. I'm a collector. I keep posters. It seems a little strange that we would keep the missing persons ad with the Armageddon poster. Just seems like even if you're going to keep both of those things, maybe some separation there.
Because unless this is a movie theater that only shows Armageddon, they have made the decision somewhere along the way, and I think you know where I'm going, Ryan, that they are going to throw away a lot of movie posters, but they're going to keep Armageddon.
Yeah.
And that is the what of this series.
I don't know about that, but
this couple has decided the thing that needs to be kept above all else is a rolled up, like not framed, a rolled up paper poster of the Bruce Willis Ben Affleck classic 9/11, or not 9/11. I don't know why I said 9/11. Armageddon. Sorry, Armageddon. And are you okay?
Did you mix up 9/11
I'm
and
sorry.
Armageddon?
I don't know why I did it. I don't know why. Are you guys gonna be okay? It's not funny. It's not funny. It's an honest mistake. It's an honest mistake. Bruce Willis did not do 9/11.
Yeah, go ahead.
And the missing poster of this child. The two things they're going to keep are a classic movie poster and the missing child poster in a box together. Why would they do that?
Yeah. Good job. Ryan, anything else?
Two more. They're tied together. Why did Alice have a pen while sitting on that car with Ned? She must have, if I would have needed a scene with her saying, I'm going to give him my number and do which could make sense. But to me, why do you just have a pen? But then the biggest mystery, Dan, the biggest mystery of the series
is Bruce Willis 9/11.
Alice has never been to a school dance before
in her life.
She's almost 16 years old.
In her life.
She went through middle school. I cede the floor to Bran.
Yeah, that's tough.
Who's got his wait what's queued up.
Well, I do got him queued up.
Wait for it. Here it comes. Right on the Bluetooth.
I can't imagine. There's a lot of ways that you could say goodbye to a historic movie theater playing a historic movie like 9/11, like Armageddon. But what is probably the worst way is a slideshow
on the big
screen. Can you imagine? Oh, let's go to the movie theater for one more showing of family slideshow.
Could have done that anywhere. Could have been on a projector out in the lobby.
I love it. Anywhere. Maybe they were playing it before they played a movie. I refuse to believe that the last thing we're showing on this screen that's shown every historic movie over the last however many years, we're gonna use a slideshow. What a disappointing use of the old projector. And last but not least, at the party, we got Goo Goo Dolls playing, and we're all having a good time. But there's one kid in particular that I believe is worshiping. He's in the background, just like, and I'll give up forever to touch you. He's having a whole moment with his Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, which I love. I love that for him. So kudos to him for having. He just, you know what? Everything points back to God.
That's right.
Yep.
Someone thinks Limp Bizkit's better than Dave Matthews Band. Guys.
Oh, okay. What? You got something to say?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Mr.
Listen
D3?
here, D3.
No. No. Although there's more at Sink or Swim, but go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
I'll
piggyback on.
I am not the world's biggest Dave Matthews Band fan. I want to be very clear about that. I fall in the camp of the 4 or 5 hits that they have. Like, play those. They're all bangers. Whenever I listen to an album, it all starts to blend together, and I'm just like, whatever. But Limp Bizkit, guys, like, we can all call it on Limp Bizkit, right? Like, we can call it that they have not stood the test of time like Dave Matthews Band has. This is absurd. The show
Ryan
should have
disagrees.
stopped. And I can't believe that we had that conversation like that was normal. It would have been normal if it would have been crazy if they flipped those two. If they're like, you know what I mean? If they were like, yeah, Dave Matthews Band, they're better than Limp Bizkit. Yes, correct. That's a take. That's a take we can live with. Or do a different band. Like say, oh, Hootie and the Blowfish is better than Dave Matthews Band. Or like Blues Traveler is better than Dave Matthews Band. All right, now we've got a conversation on our hands. Limp Bizkit is better than Dave. Like, it's like, man, you know what? Now that I've had some time to think of it, Limp Bizkit is better than that trash can. Like, it is better. Now that I've had some time to think through it over 30 years, Limp Bizkit's better than the trash can. That would have been better. I can't believe that they did this.
Yeah. Well,
You just saving it? You saving it, right?
It's going to be a perfect segue. We didn't even plan it. So yeah, it's just, I'll
Great.
get with you. I'll be with you in about 30 seconds. It's
Yeah.
time for the segment that we all, yeah.
I do want to give a shout out to the high school kids that went through planning a fall dance quilt. This is not a poster. It is maybe the material you use for a sack race, and they have decorated it, everything. And they're about to either snuggle underneath it or put it somewhere. And Alice says, what about Party Like It's 1999? And they're like, you're right, ditch it. You're right.
The 90s are having a moment. Yeah.
Chuck it.
the 90s are having a moment.
Chuck it right now. Did we find an old sackcloth? Yes. Did we decorate it like autumn? We sure did. Are we about to
Oh,
hang/snuggle? You bet. But chuck it. Just chuck it. Get it out of here.
It's a better idea.
It's not good enough for us. It never was. It never has been. That's impressive. They do the slideshow in the theater, but they're going to give the big speech outside in the freezing cold. There's a stage inside. And then it's like, oh, they're doing this so they can turn the lights off. That's why they're doing it, I think. Why are the lights to the theater outside? Why are they outside? Anyone at any moment to pull a fun, maybe a Valentine's Day prank could come in and shut the theater down from outside in the front.
Poor design.
Near the awning.
Poor design. Poor design.
Real bad.
We
Real
don't,
bad
we
across
don't
the
actually
board.
see them turn.
They
It
walk
could
over.
have been like, now it's
3,
fine.
2.
Yelling to the guy in the.
Yeah.
That's right. It's like sixpence none the richer. They clearly didn't want to pay for that one. They got swing, and then it just cuts off immediately. So what are you going to do?
It's time for Sink or Swim. Yeah, Ryan.
All right, my sink, Dan. We did not plan this audience file. We did not plan this. So, and I want to preface, Dan. I agree with basically everything you said.
Okay,
there will be
good.
one,
Oh,
not
boy,
even
here
slight
we go.
variation, just one slight addition to what you
Okay,
said. My
great.
sink, however, is an offshoot. Is it really fair to classify Limp Bizkit as a screaming band?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, it's
I,
not.
No.
I sunk on that. Like, I don't consider Fred Durst a screamer.
No. He's a rapper.
Yeah.
He's a rapper.
Yeah.
Whether or not a good one, debatable. Like, but like,
He's
you know,
Fred Durst.
Yeah,
I mean-
so now I should say, Dan, Brand will know this. Dan, you might not be as well versed. Limp Bizkit was a big WWE band in the early 2000s.
I am not surprised
Yeah.
at all.
So I have a deeper connection to Limp Bizkit than some, because in some ways they were a soundtrack of my youth, which has turned into my career. However, I agree with you, ludicrous, no debate. But the one thing I will say, my swim, if you want us to dislike Teenage Brady, that's the take to
Yeah.
rip off. So
Correct.
way home,
Yeah.
you're
That's
swimming. That was a swimming revelation.
That's
Listen,
right.
only one of these bands did it all for the Nookie, and
That's right.
And they're still rolling to this day.
they
you know?
sure are. They're rolling,
to the stage,
rolling.
right through the
Huh.
hot dog flavored water.
That's
It's
exactly
unbelievable.
right.
Their way or the highway, when it comes to these things.
You knew
know?
a third song.
Well, those
You
were the
knew
two
a third
WWE.
one.
I actually, there's a couple
You
more I
knew
could rattle
a
off.
third one.
You just named the whole album. Technically, you just mentioned 12.
As soon as he said that one and you said the next one, I was like, I don't have a song left. I don't have one to contribute to.
So you
this
knew the
fun
album
time.
title?
This star something and the hot dog flavor.
No, don't act like you don't know. You nailed it.
I didn't know. What's the whole title? I don't know it.
I think
I
you
like
got
to
it.
know. No,
Yeah.
what's the whole title? I'm
Look
looking
up
it
Boys to Men Iris while you're on Spotify there.
While you're over there, get. So my sink or swim, I'm gonna say that this is absolutely a swim.
Chocolate
or
starfish and the hot dog flavored
okay.
water. Yep, there we go.
I honestly, I don't know where to put this. I'm not upset that it happened. I'm surprised that it happened. That at a 90s themed party, yes, play the Iris. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know if the other song that I would have playing at the party is the old Six Flags song. That was a surprise to me. I'm not upset that the song got played. It gets me moving. I love it. I just don't know when I think of 90s. It gets me moving.
Like 65 and going to like some sort of aerobics class.
Play my Six Flags
song on the double.
I just don't know if that's what comes to mind. I don't know how long into the 90s hits list I get. Do I get to the Six Flags
so I got
song?
Iris
I'm
Six
also
Flags
not sure
song.
it's from the 90s. I remember that song in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like 80-year-old guy dancing to that song early 2000s.
Yeah.
As best I recall it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
What was that, Aaron? 1998?
1998 is when the song came out.
Aaron coming in with the fact check.
Wow.
So there you
My
go.
bad.
Ryan,
My
get
bad,
out of
Aaron.
here.
Come on,
Scram.
All right.
Dan?
Yeah, I just have a question, and it is, can you travel forward in time through the pond? Can you? So, like, I know you can go back to the future, right? So, like, I know if Alice goes back, she can back to 1999, she can go back to 2023. But can someone in 1999, who lives in 1999, go forward to 2023? Because that is a very important part of this show going forward for the rules of it, because they've established that it is not parallel universes, it's one timeline. So whatever happens already happens. Doesn't matter. It changed maybe because you went back, but we didn't know you went back yet. That's how they've solved the bootstrap paradox. And so if you can go forward, like if Alice could take young Cat forward, now we've got a situation. Because then if the kid, if Jacob can go forward in time, he could be younger. If he can only go backwards in time from 1999, then he has to be older than everyone else, right? So like if he's 5 and he goes back to 1985, then he would not be his age. He would be 15 years older than his age. You would think his age.
And I know it's another thing that they keep. Like I don't think it's a throwaway line that they brought back in the White Witch in this episode. They're like, don't forget that the White Witch exists.
Because in the first scene of the first episode, there is someone being proclaimed a witch in the, I guess, 1800s, 1700s, running toward the pond.
And they haven't really talked about it since.
And jumping in.
They didn't really talk about it then.
That's right. And if it wasn't for our podcast, I would assume over the course of 11 weeks, a lot of viewers would forget about that.
So
they're bringing that back.
Having the kiddos say to remind us the White Witch. Like it was.
That's a little too Hallmark for me. I wish they wouldn't have done that. Sure. I wish they'd have just let it be. But
it's got to come back, right? Like we got to get some sort of answer about this White Witch.
That's right.
Where the boy is. Like there's lots of things we got to do in 5 episodes.
Correct.
So
Correct.
I'm excited. It's time for Wrestle to the Ground.
Hey! What is going on here?
What are we wrestling to the ground this week, buddy?
I still can't believe that we've had long, prosperous in-ring careers, the three of us. But I think that's probably nothing's going to top that. But we should note that if anyone here has taken an interest at all in wrestling that didn't before I started doing the show, that this past Friday on SmackDown and then the next night at Elimination Chamber, the Montreal crowd in support of Sami Zayn was incredible. These are clips we're seeking out. If you like emotion, if you like ravenous crowds, check them out. An incredible weekend of wrestling in WWE. There you go, Bran. What do you got for me?
The Hardy Boys. You were even doing the hands.
Oh yeah.
It
could kind of work with the Six Flags song too.
Yeah. Can you imagine Jeff Hardy just going hard to the Six Flag theme, jumping off a 30-foot ladder?
How far back can you do this? Can I call out some 90s ones in future episodes?
Sure. I mean, I only have one job, as I say. It's like.
Take that back. You work here at Deck the Hallmark, Brian, and don't you forget it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
that's right. Something we got to put food on that table. Congratulations. What was that?
I was just thinking Iris.
He's going in Iris. We all missed our cue.
Sorry.
And I
don't want.
We'll get it.
You know what's going to be great is us doing this with delay. That's gonna
awesome.
crush.
Yep.
That's what Goo Goo Dolls had in mind. We did, everybody, another episode halfway through the season. Another half to go. You can watch the entire rest of the half and all the episodes that we'll be doing, covering them on Philo. So go ahead, get that, get that subscription. Philo.tv/DTH if you want to watch every episode of The Way Home and every episode of Deck the Hallmark right there in one nice little place. We're gonna be back tomorrow with another When Calls to Heart review. Jax is on her way, and I believe all flights are looking good.
Flights are looking good.
So hopefully she'll be here tomorrow. Until then, maybe we're the first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark is a Bramble Jam podcast. It's produced by Aaron Shea. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on the Deck the Hallmark family, you can go to bramblejamplus.com. Deck the Hallmark is presented by Philo TV. For a free trial of Philo, go to philo.tv/DTH.